if you're watching this episode right now, that means you've watched the other ones, right? So like, comment, subscribe. So let's get into it. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy new comic book day. Hope you got your comics. I know I didn't. They're gonna be amazing. We're not gonna talk about that today. We're gonna be talking about a new 52 one called Batman Beyond Brave New Worlds. This is actually falling off of the Future's End, and in this one, it is not Terry McGinnis who is Batman Beyond, but it is Tim Drake. And the cool part about this is that, for those who don't know, Batman Beyond didn't start off as a comic. It actually started off as an animated series. The series got so popular that there was such a high demand for it that they eventually made it into a comic. And the main premise of it is, for Batman Beyond, for those who don't know, is that Bruce Wayne is old, he's like a retired age, perfect for Michael Keaton to play as him if they did in a movie right now, and he has to bring down the mantle to someone else. Terry McGinnis comes in, wants to gets a job, goes to the Bruce Wayne's manor, finds the Batcave, and he's like, well, I guess we'll train you. So he becomes the new Batman. And but in this one, for those who don't know about Future's End is this huge event that that happened a while ago, where basically like Terry McGinnis goes backward in time to try to prevent a future from Brother Eye, but it's really a messed up story. I have all of them because I thought they were cool, and then I read it again and I realized how bad it was. I mean, I don't want to say bad. I mean how many plot holes it had. Like how really it wasn't a really good, I think, thought out story. I mean, it had good intentions. It was a great idea, but the plot, no one was communicating with each other, so it kind of didn't really work out. But in the end of that one, Terry McGinnis dies, and someone has to go back, to the future. So Tim Drake does, and Tim Drake's an adult, and he becomes Batman Beyond. And this one's kind of cool because it's the write-off of what happens in Future's End. So if you see what happens in Future's End, he's trying to prevent Brother Eye. He's going after they prevented him in the present. They go to the future and see if it affected anything, and it didn't. I mean, Brother Eye's still taking over. And it's really kind of cool because, I mean, Tim Drake taking the Batman mantle, we've seen it only once, and that's in Jeff Johns' run, well, twice now. Jeff Johns' run and in the Detective Comics run, Tinian's run, when the future's Batman comes. And he's like a more strict Batman. But making him a Batman Beyond was kind of an interesting idea, I thought, of sorts. Artwork's amazing. This is written by Dan Jurgens. For those who don't know, the guy who killed Superman, the guy who's, doing Green Lantern right now, he's doing fantastic right now. I just finished the last one. Holy cow. Holy cow. We'll get into that later, but just, so good. This is a good, I mean, I don't know that much Batman Beyond. I've read a couple of other ones, but this one was kind of an interesting concept to me. The overall story arc is like, if you've read Future's End, you know what's happening. The characters of the Batman Beyond universe are still in there, but they're not used to seeing Terry. But they're seeing Tim Drake. The really sad part is when when Terry's brother comes up and asks if it's Terry, and then Tim's got to tell Terry that Tim's got to tell his little brother that he's not coming back. But later on in the whole story arc, actually, he does come back. They had to bring him back because there was such a high demand. Not a lot of people liked Tim Drake as Batman Beyond. I thought he was okay. I mean, not great, but I thought it was, like I said, interesting concept. Really good, artwork, and honestly, I gotta give it more of a for me, it's a 6 out of 10. I mean, Dan Jurgens has written some good stuff, guys, and this is an interesting concept, and it went for I think 2 or 3 volumes, and yeah, I mean, I honestly like the artwork and the whole things right now on this, and Dan Jurgens actually is still writing this. He's still writing this, and it's still Terry McGinnis, and it's kind of cool because right now they're doing a whole new other thing in Batman Rebirth. But honestly, 6 out of 10. It's not that bad of a pickup. If you've read Future's End, you can pick it up, but I mean, that's up to you in the end. If you want to pick up this comic right here, link in the description down below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this comic review. I enjoy doing these things, and if you do like what you saw, hit that thumbs up, and put down in the comments below, have you ever heard of Batman Beyond? Did you watch the animated series when you were a kid? Or maybe you're still an adult and you still watch it. I watched it. It was on Amazon Prime at one point, and I started watching the crap out of it. Also, another thing I want to talk about. So you might have noticed that like Fridays I don't do a lot. Like I used to do Fridays a lot of videos on a Friday, and I've kind of been like every other week. I'm doing so many other things right now that Friday videos are kind of becoming like not a back burner, but more of a like I want this to be a very special project. So I really take more time on the Friday videos. So for me, Friday videos will be every other Friday. Now, another thing I want to talk about. There's a group that I am a part of right now, and it's called the GEEKS. If you don't know who they are, we are Joseph's Books, Comic Boom, NERDSCUM, and they all started this channel where they just sit and talk, and it's bi-weekly right now, and it's a really cool one. I'm a part of it now, and it's a lot of fun where we just talk about comics industry and the comic news and seeing what's happening there, and it's a really fun channel. We usually do it either Thursday or Friday, and it's not usually for Eastern Standard Time. I think it's usually at 7. I will post on my Twitter when I do it, but it's a fun thing to do. Come and join us. We have a lot of fun talking about it. This last issue we talked about like the CW and Venom and all this other stuff, and it was a great time, and I really hope to see you guys there. So the subscription, so I'll put down the link down in the description below to all those channels. So I'm talking about Comic Boom, Joseph Books, NERDSCUM, and I'll make sure to put also a link down to GEEKS, and check that one out, because that one is another reason why Friday videos are kind of going on the back burner right now, because Friday, I'm not saying I'm substituting it for it, but again, I want to make sure that Friday video is something that you guys are really going to watch, and I dive into it and I get really, in depth with them. With the writer, with the, like I said, every other month to be a writer, spotlight, and then, we're going to do other things that I'm coming up with. And it's more of just my personal touch and my personal feelings on certain things that are coming in the comic industry. Well, thanks. That's the update, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys hopefully on the GEEKS this Friday. Check the channel out. Check the other guys out. They're great channels. And I have nothing else to say, but they're just a great bunch of guys. So, peace out.